This is where we hold them. This is where we fight.
You are now listening to Sweep the Rack podcast featuring Brooklyn Rob and Big Mike.
Rob, what's good, homie?
Yo, look what came in the mail. Shout out, Mike.
Big shout.
Big shouts to our guy Carl Nystrom over in Portland, Maine. Yo, old school Sweep the Rack jersey. Okay, look at that STR, the old school logo. And then yo, check the back, Mike.
Sick.
Yo, it's got the Brooklyn Rob on it. Yo, how sweet is this jersey? Yo, it fits great too. It's got Bopo on one sleeve. So, Mike, if I'm repping our own podcast, that doesn't make me a patch pirate, does it? If I'm repping our own podcast,
No. No, it's our podcast.
Real quick, before we get to a lot of what we got going on. If anybody knows, sees my new name, Scottsdale Rob. Unfortunately, I was reached out to Facebook this morning or this afternoon by Chuck Ritchie Jr. And Chuck Ritchie Jr. notified me that Brooklyn Rob, I had to give up my name to Booger Kroll. So Booger Kroll will now be known as Brooklyn Booger. And I will be known as Scottsdale Rob. So shouts to Brooklyn Booger for his new nickname. We look forward to the new going forward as Scottsdale Rob.
People want the jersey, Rob.
Oh,
people in the chat asking, let's put the jersey up for sale.
I'll have to reach out to my guy and see if we could sell them. See if there's a way to do it. I don't know, but I'll talk to him about it if people are interested. But yo, this jersey's sweet, bro. Like this is it. I would walk around the house in this thing every day.
No question.
Yo, it's sick.
All right. Well, we have quite a bit to get to tonight. And Jim Ward in the chat asking if that was me in the crowd next to the guy that had the Bowlers for Veterans link shirt. Yes, that was me. If you were watching the show, you probably saw me at that point. I'll be honest, I was trying to stay off the TV, but they did catch me there. Nico mentioning Mike Fagan to the Hall of Fame. Agree, Nico. We're gonna table that discussion just for tonight because we have too much to get to. So we will come back to that at some point in the near future. Perhaps with some with a guest there, maybe. We're trying to work that out. Jimmy in the chat, noticing the STR merch on national TV. Yes, sir. You saw the shirt. Son. Okay, and I'll have a little bit more to say about that in a few minutes. Oh my goodness, the chat is just
Brooklyn Booger defeating Big DAE, Dave Arnold Energy. Dude, some big DAE, Mike. Some big DAE for sure.
Lou, tell me in the chat, did you finish watching the show? I need to know if you finished the show yet. If you're done, let me know, please.
All right, Mike, let's get to your league review real quick because we got a lot to go on.
I know, that's why everybody shows up. So, that's why we decided to go live tonight because, people want to hear about my Tuesday night league experience.
Yeah, but hold on, where's my woozy face?
Yeah, I'm going to make quick. Short pattern. My guy in the chat, Lou Gaudio, Robin, be honest with you, he's unbeatable on this short pattern. I was actually joking with him. It's Broadway version 2, and I was joking with him on Tuesday after he shot yet another 279 to open the night. He's got like 8 something, 790 something, and then opens up the night 279 on the short pattern. I told him, I said, yo, I'm going to put out a post saying any PBA players that are out of the event that want serious action
Dude,
Come
that's my
on
guy.
up.
Yo, that's the guy, Carl, man. My guy with the jersey. Yo, check that out. Brooklyn Rob, what up? I should change it to Scottsdale Rob now because of Brooklyn Booger. Thanks, Carl. Much appreciated, man.
Much appreciated, man. No doubt. We wanted to show some love, so no doubt get some drinks on us. So lose unbeatable. I bowled good. I had 279 going into the 10th frame, but I got nervous because I knew Lou was going to finish his out, and I threw my worst shot of the game in the 10th frame. And then I only got like 1 or 2 on the spare, and we missed cashing in the doubles or winning the doubles. We missed winning the doubles, I think, by a pin or 2. So that was fun. I won a card game for $140, so that was good. I won a doubles pot later in the night. Finished second in a singles pot later in the night. So it was a pretty good night for me. I shot like 640 something on the short. I used urethane the whole time. I threw it pretty good. My spare shooting was good. It was a decent night. Put me on a short pad, I'm a bowler. All right. I'm a bowler. All right. So that's my league review. I'm gonna keep it short.
Yo, talk about a JBT legend. Our guy, Keith Poppity, man.
No doubt.
Dude, my guy was like JBT legend, bro. He threw the ball better than 98% of us.
He says, are we talking about the guy shooting darts at EJ in the crowd? I know that was amazing. There were a couple interesting people in the crowd. I was in the crowd. I was there today. I was in the building. I'll talk a little bit about it in a few here. But go ahead, Rob.
Mike, you know what my response to that was on Twitter? At least they didn't get him on TV holding his left nut. Because that's usually what we would do when instead of throwing darts.
Yeah, true. Vic mentioning in the chat that I was banging Thane. Yes, I do on the short pattern. I pretty much only bring in 1 ball, and that was that. Lumber Flexual asking, did I get to meet the bearded braid guy? No, I didn't. I didn't even notice him until somebody hit me up after the show and pointed it out to me. I was kind of focused on the action, so didn't get there. All right, so we're going to get to our rundown of the show in a minute, but before we do, Rob, there was a lot of action going on around here at Sweep the Rack this week, and we might be changing the name of this podcast to Sweep the Parlays, son, because that's all we did this week was sweep the parlays and sweep the bets. My goodness gracious, what a week we had. And you know what? Before I get into our bets, I want to give a shout out to my old college teammate, Danny Dunleavy. I had a previous nickname for him. I'm not even going to use it here. He has a new nickname now. It's the Billy Walters of the bowling world. Okay? Because my man is out here betting and betting bank on serious bets and crushing them. Okay? I'm not going to reveal his info, etc. I don't, that's his thing. But want to give him a major shout out too, because we crushed him. But, yeah, he's crushing them too. So there's definitely some conversation going back and forth there as well, trying to get on the same page and share some information. So, Rob, it all started on Thursday night, right, because we knew this best-of-7 format was coming, and we were locked in. And, Rob, you hit an 8-leg parlay, son. You are a sick bastard. Okay?
I didn't bet a lot.
You hit an 8-leg parlay, all right? And guys, listen in the chat. Feel free to give it to them. Okay. Small bet, $10. You turn 10 into like $4.50, right? $5 into what?
$3.70.
$5 into $3.70.
So real quick on the history of why I do it. I started a tradition with the NFL where every week I would bet every game on the money line, and I would put a small bet in, like a $5 or a $10 bet in on every game.
That on a Sunday too.
I'll do it every game. It's like a tradition I've had. I've done it for a while. I've done it for 2 years. I've never hit in the NFL. I've never went like 13-0 or 12-0. It's really it's hard to do. So I decided with the best of 7 that I was going to start doing that on the first round. And what happens in the second tournament of the year with the best of 7? I hit on the 8-leg because it was 8 matches. Some of it was educated guesses and some of it was dumb blind luck, Mike. But most of it is pretty knowledgeable info on just what's happening. Like I look at a lot of the qualifying PTQs, the lane play, and there's something you can't bet every favorite. You have to, you have to pick a couple of underdogs here and there. And look, you have to get a little bit lucky to hit an 8-leg.
No doubt. I mean, but that was sick. That was sick.
I wish I would have bet more, but hindsight's 2020, Mike.
Yeah, no, I hear you. And most of the time when you bet a ticket like that, you're definitely not expecting it to go your way. So
No,
I understand your position.
I'll never hit it ever again.
Okay, so well, I don't know about that. I mean, I think that we have our finger on the pulse of kind of what's going on, especially in these best of 7 matches.
A little bit, yeah.
Especially to be able to like pick some reasonable upsets, right? So.
Dude, there might be a comment. Did you guys ever parlay 5 crossovers into a title?
Oh my God!
Lou, I've never done that before, and I probably will never do it.
Lou, stick around, please. I'm going to ask you a question in a few.
Did we ever Brooklyn Bug out there?
Oh my goodness! So starting Thursday night, right now, some of these bets that I'm giving here were with other people as well, right? Because I'm not trying to give the impression that I'm doing something that I'm not. There are some bets that I'm listing here that I put in that involved other people, right? But starting Thursday night, Rob, we hit a $100 parlay on Belmo and Bill to win their matches. That paid $230. We hit a 4-pick parlay of Belmo, Bill, Jones, McCune to all win. That turned 25 into 130. We hit another 4-way parlay: McCune, Foy, Nathan Bohr, Smallwood. That turned $10 into 127. And we hit another 4-way parlay of Belmo, Bill, Jones, and Stubler to all win. That turned 15 into 87. Okay, that was all Thursday night. So you hit the 8-legger Thursday night. I hit all of those Thursday night. With a couple other people involved there. Going into Friday, okay. I'm going to the event on Friday, so I know I'm putting some bets in, right? So first bet we put in was a parlay on O'Neal, Foy, and Keiko to win. Okay, O'Neal, Foy, and Keiko. We turned 100 into 884. Okay, we turned 100 into 884 there. All right. Then we hit. We just missed a parlay on a Tommy Jones loss in that round. His match with Boog Kroll went 7, and he lost in the 7th game. That would have been another parlay that we hit. Going into the night block, we took Keiko over Belmo. Okay, we took Keiko for I think 450 to win almost
13.
Total to like getting back almost $2,000, right? 1,800, I think it was, something like that. And then we also parlayed Tim Foy and Bill together to win, and that was 300 turned into 900. Okay, then today, obviously everybody knows how the tournament ended, but today. I put money on Bill to win, 100 on Bill to win. I think about 3.5 to 1, and 100 on Boog Kroll to win at 375 plus 375. So I put 200 up. I got 475 back today. So absolutely crushing them, bro.
Dude, hot as hell right now.
Absolutely crushing.
Wild. And I'm gonna comment. I want to bring up Nico's comment about taking Keiko over Belmo. Belmo was struggling with ball reaction. And you could tell in the Kyle Trout match, he didn't have a really good reaction. You could tell it. So Keiko was plus 230. And it was a good bet. I thought it was a good bet at plus 230. So I mean, shit, like, sometimes when you gamble, you can't take the minus 250s and the minus 230s. It's just, you're not getting bang for your buck on those bets. So there's been a little bit. I love Foy this week, Mike. Foy had that dog in him. I tweeted it out, man. That kid, he brings the intensity. He wants to win. He was in his home house and he was underdog this first 2 rounds when he bowled his matches. They didn't start catching on to him as a favorite until the later round when I think he bowled the last match. But yeah, so some of those bets were good bets. I mean, yeah. I love Bet Rivers. I love what they're doing. I couldn't have asked right now for a better betting platform for bowling, Mike. If you would have told us this would have been starting how it is with Bet Rivers from this year, I would have been like, holy crap, this is awesome. Like this came out of nowhere, to be honest with you. And we're fortunate enough to live in states that have we're allowed to bet as well as bet on Bet Rivers. So yeah, I mean, hopefully that starts spreading after this year and more people could start betting. I know New York gets a lot of complaints when people can't bet.
Yeah, I certainly enjoy it, especially in that best of 7 type format. I think there's just so many opportunities to bet, and it was really an awesome experience to get some bets in and then go to the event and watch the matches live.
Yeah, so Jeff asked, explain why you didn't take Andrew Anderson, who led a tournament, because that was ballsy. No, I mean, I just explained it, Mike. It's not
no,
ballsy.
Well, we were parlaying. We were parlaying too. So if I wanted to take Anderson, I could. But quite honestly, Tim Foy is really familiar with this house.
He bowls there. That's where
he bowls there. He practices there. He bowls a lot of events there. So, I took it more off of that and off of the fact that I knew the crowd was going to be with Foy, right? And to me, that could put a lot of pressure on guys. But I thought that he would kind of feed off of that. Now I'm going to say there was at least one instance in each of Foy's matches in these rounds where I think both matches it was 2-1 Foy, and he got up in the 9th or 10th frame with an opportunity to just shut the door in that game and go up 3-1. And Rob, he split both times that he had that opportunity. And in the later round, his match went 7 because of that. And yeah, I mean, when you say there's a little bit of luck involved in it, that's the type of stuff I'm talking about, where like you think you're dead and then you're not, and the matches swing. Like in your 8-leg parlay and my 4-leg parlay, one of the ones I hit, look at the Nate Stubler Kevin Williams match. Nate Stubler goes up at 7-10s, and we thought we were absolutely dead. We were texting with each other like, oh my God, this is a terrible way to lose this 8-leg parlay. This is ridiculous. And then boom. Williams gets up in 7-10s in the next shot, and we're back in it, right? So yeah, it takes some luck. Things have to go your way. Not all of these matches are going to be a Bill O'Neill versus Chris Vi 4-0 shoot 8-20 the first 3, and it's never close, right? So yeah, things definitely have to go your way.
Yeah, it's a lot of luck, and that's just in any gambling, Mike. I mean, you pick the best educated guess, right? And then after hindsight 2020, you could say, well, I should have done this and I should have done that. Yeah, there's none of that. You just pick what you pick what you pick what you think is going to win, and you go with it. Nico
asking if I bet the over on any of the matches today. Nico, I did. Just the first match, I took the over, parlayed with EJ Tackett to win. So I was right on the over, but I was wrong on EJ Tackett. And Rob, that's kind of a perfect transition, I feel like, into running the ladder here, right?
Let's do it. Let's talk
getting into this. Yeah, getting into this first match. I mean,
Michelle.
It was, EJ Tackett right where he wanted him, and he threw a bad shot at a bad time and went 6 through the face. And I know he made it. I understand he made it, but it was on a spare, and because of the count and the particular situation, yes, making it was a great way to kind of get the momentum back a little bit, and obviously it gives them a better score as well. But to throw that 6 count there at that time, 5 shows in a row, 5 losses. I don't know. You definitely have to question what's going on there, especially coming off the back of last year's performance, right? And we're kind of regressing back now to every game. It seems like he's at least given his opponent one major opening, right? And that's all it took for Tim Foy. After that frame, Tim Foy gets up, and he basically had a chance to throw 2 shots and close it out for all intents and purposes, which he was able to do. Credit to him. But, to me, that game was more about E.J. Tackett, losing and giving Foy the opportunity to close it out, and not applying the pressure to this guy who's on his first show. And shout to Tim Foy, he got up and made the shots. So thoughts there, Rob?
Yeah, I think sometimes EJ's the way his ball motion hurts him on the shows worse than it hurts him when he bowls like qualifying and match play. His ball reactions just seem really hard off the end of the pattern. And Foy was using a stealth, and it was a very even rolling ball, very wasn't as skid snappy. Obviously, Foy's roll is not even close to that. And I think that sometimes hurts EJ when he slows down a little bit or he misses in a little bit. His ball tends to just go through the nose, and it goes really hard through the nose. And he pays the price a lot more than some other pros do that have a little bit of a smoother roll in the back of the lane. I think, yeah. So for me, that was the difference a little bit. I mean, they both actually bowled really good games. There was some carry issues. And the one thing I was impressed with Foy is how good of a game he bowled, considering he hasn't been on TV. It's his second time on TV, right? He's bowling in his home bowling center with pretty much, I mean, you were there. I mean, what would you say? 75% of the crowd was rooting for Foy. It felt that way. And he mentally talked himself into throwing great shots, because you could hear his self-talk. And I was very impressed with how great he was throwing the ball, considering how much nerves he had, because he was nervous. I mean, he balked once, he stepped off once. He seemed like he had a lot of nerves, and rightfully so, Mike. I mean, if I was bowling in front of my hometown on the second time I've made a television show, and I'd be nervous too. And he bowled an amazing game, to be honest with you. And he closed out EJ when he could have. I think
amazing performance from him in that game. And when he balked, I was there live. I was watching.
You're like,
he didn't even, one of them at least, he didn't even fully step off.
I know.
And I thought, oh, disaster's coming right here. And to his credit, he threw a great shot. Eric in the chat saying you can't down talk 5 straight shows. No question, Hoss. No question. I mean, that's record setting, right? Eric, that's record setting. But also at the same time, Eric, for somebody of EJ Tackett's stature, right? To say if I told you, hey, EJ Tackett's going to make 5 shows in a row, what kind of odds you think you're going to get on him winning one of those? I mean, most people are going to say he's going to win at least one if he makes 5 shows in a row. So while I'm not down talking the accomplishment of making 5 shows, I'm absolutely amazed by that. I even said on Twitter that dude is a sicko. I mean, he's a sicko. This is like Mark Roth levels of sicko-ness that we're seeing here. All right, but it's got to be followed up on better, in order to really parlay it into something and turn it into something. So, I think big shout to Tim Foy in that first match, no question, Rob.
Yeah.
All right, so Foy wins that first game, and he goes on to face Bill.
Yeah, and I think, Mike, let me start this match off by saying I think Foy used the wrong ball in this match. I think he should have switched earlier in the match. I'm not saying you don't start with it, right? You do. You start with it. You just bowled like 240. You just start, you start with that. But as he started to see his ball start to labor, look, they start to transition, Mike. That's when they start to really transition. And he started to lose his reaction right around when he, 2-8 on the right lane. And then he should have started to think about switching into something like a theorem that Bill was throwing, right? And I think that's why Bill had a little bit of an advantage in just ball reaction, is because Bill started with his theorem and Foy using that stealth and not getting out of it quicker.
Yeah, but like you said, how do you? How do you, right?
You make that switch, you prepare
you feel good about it.
And you do.
And you're probably just telling yourself, I got to make a better shot.
Right.
And you're hesitant to make that big change because you're probably not 100% sure. And then your opponent is coming in and he's seeing that pair fresh.
Yeah.
I mean, not fresh in terms of a fresh pattern, but fresh in terms of a set of eyes
Right.
and what they look like from that moment going forward, right? Whereas your impression of the pair is going to be influenced by where you were at coming into that game, right?
But
So
here's the thing, though, Mike, is Foy had a theorem because you saw him throw it. So he had one in his bag. And here you're bowling against one of, and Randy always talks about it. And look, we're biased about Bill, but Bill, look, is one of the best bowlers on tour right now. He's a surefire Hall of Famer, and he's a master lane player. He knows his reactions. He knows his lane play. The kid wouldn't be as good as he is if he didn't, right? And here Bill's coming. You're on the same staff, and Bill's using a theorem, and you're in his stealth, and you're losing your reaction slowly. You could see it as the game went on. You might think about switching out of that when you're down 20 or 25 after he left that split in like the fourth or fifth frame. I think it was the 2-8-10. You might think about switching then. You're already down 20, 25, right? And you're going to need at least double or throw 3 in a row to get back in this match.
yeah, Robert Hamilton pointing out that he did try the sensor in the first ball of the fill ball, the first game.
Yeah,
If
the
I'm
sensor's
correct, Robert, I think
Yeah.
I think that struck as
It
well.
wasn't a sensor. It was a theorem. He didn't throw a sensor.
Okay, theorem.
Yeah, I
right.
saw the theorem. I saw it, and it was way too skid snappy for him when he threw it. But that was almost a game ago, and in a game on TV is a lot happens in a game on the TV transition, from what I can tell, from what I've been told.
Okay, so Bill bowls really good in that game. Foy struggles with ball reaction a little bit. Game goes to Bill. Game was under. Game was way under in that
Way
game.
under.
And that was
Yeah.
sort of the trend for the rest of the day, right? And then we get to the match that that I'm sure a lot of people are here to hear us talk about.
Stefan writes, like I said, Bill and the theorem is better love story than Kelsey and Swift. Oh man, I know. Bill loves that theorem. I can't imagine how many he plans on drilling in the next few weeks and months.
So I want to say this before we discuss this match.
Oh God, we're going into this, aren't we?
Props to David Kroll.
Dude, Booger crushed him. Booger bowled great all
Props
week.
to him. Like, to watch somebody win their first title is an amazing thing.
Totally.
I can't even imagine what that feels like, right?
100%.
And I'm hardly going to come on here and rain on Homeboy's parade who won his first title, right?
Right.
So if you came here looking for me to just go off the deep end with hot takes about what happened, you're going to be a little bit disappointed. But I do consider myself somebody who knows a lot about watching bowling and the history of bowling on TV. Okay. I've watched bowling for 30 years plus. I spent many of my teenage years trading videotapes with people to get my hands on PBA shows, to watch them and see some of the biggest moments that I never got to see live. Not to mention that many of us grew up watching the PBA on Saturday mornings, and I have continued to do that in my adult life. Okay. And Lou, here's the question I wanted to ask you if you're still here. I hope you're still here, because Lou is somebody whose opinion I really respect as a knowledgeable person about bowling competitive history, right?
You don't want to ask me, but you want to ask Lou. All right.
Well, I do. I want to ask all of you. I want to
Okay.
ask both of you, but people send me things that show me, hey, this person, like, they're deep into this like I am, and he's one of those people. Was that the luckiest win in PBA history?
Ooh.
If it wasn't, what is? Because when I thought about it the whole ride home,
you got a lot to think about too.
I had a 2-hour ride home, and when I thought about it the whole ride home, I'll be honest with you, only a couple things came to mind. I mean, Chris Barnes crossing over to win the Motel 6 Roll to Riches.
But that was one shot, though.
It was one shot, and it was one shot, and it was just because of the amount of money that it was.
Right.
Another one that came to mind was Mike Albee against Bob Spalding. Okay. Back in the day when Mike Albee won the Triple Crown, I believe he was using a coup de C on that show, and he needed like a double to complete the Triple Crown. and he crumbled a bucket. Okay, now people are bringing up some examples, right? People are bringing up some like Mika missing the 10-pin. No, that's not even the same category to me here. I'm saying where the person got lucky and won, not won through the misfortune of their opponent. That's what happened with Mika and Duke, and Mika missing the 10-pin, right? That was due to the misfortune of your opponent, and then you won, right? But nothing even came close to me to a match where he crossed over 3 times and then tripped the 3-pin forward on another one. I mean,
so Lou writes in the comments, the closest I would say was Steve Cook in Long Island, I believe 1982. Cook crossed over 8 times, but it was over 3 games. So now I think this beats all. That's a great pull, Lou. I mean, you must know a lot.
That's what I'm talking about.
That's why you're talking about Lou.
Okay, all right.
100%.
He's a little older than us too, so his clear knowledge of things goes back to that era that I'm not really in. I mean, early 80s, I wasn't watching bowling yet.
Okay, so I got to say this first before I talk about Boog's last 2 games that he bowled. If you watched Boog bowling against EJ Tackett in the best of 7 to get to the show, and I need to say this before I talk about Boog's 2 games, he bowled unbelievable, Mike. He was posting shots. That 279 he bowled to beat Tackett to get to the show was one of the best physically executed games I've watched all year, honestly.
I watched it live. It was sick.
All the credit to Boog throwing that. He was posting him, right? Now, fast forward to today.
Can I add something there?
Sure.
I had $100 on him to win today because I thought he had the best look of anybody I saw bowling the match play.
Right.
Okay.
Yeah. You're both phenomenal. But here's the thing is, now you look at today's 2 matches, and he definitely got lucky against Bill. Okay. Now, it wasn't all Boog's luck. Bill did miss a spare, which he will win an award for in my awards. He did miss a spare in the middle of the match, which is a spare that he makes, 8, 9 out of 10 times, even 10 out of 10 times. Mark Zangi writes, it was and it wasn't. Never thought Bill would miss the 128. Although breaks evened out, Boog drew the clutch shot on the roll off. Okay, exactly.
The breaks didn't even out though. The breaks
didn't even out. No. Because what happened was look, Bill missed the spare. Bill shouldn't have missed the spare, but there also needs to be talked about how bad that left lane was. Okay, the left lane, Mike, it was terrible. Okay,
it was fire. When Keiko was coming over to practice, that seemed to be the focus of the conversation, was what he was going to do on this left lane, and we'll come to that in the next match.
The interesting part of it, though, is how 2 lanes on the same TV pair, how one can get really bad and one stays okay. It just amazes me how much lane topography and practice really can screw things up, and how different both those lanes were. Okay, which was the case, right? The left lane was atrocious, okay? And I would have liked to seen Boog try to make a ball switch on that left lane, but look, here's the thing, Mike. If you're going to miss, right, there's 2 ways to miss in bowling in general. Either you miss bad enough to go Brooklyn, or you miss bad enough not to leave a split and you leave makeable splits, okay? Boog was fortunate enough where when he was missing bad enough to go Brooklyn, or missing to leave makeable spares until the 10th, right? When Boog had a chance to close out Bill, and he didn't. I mean, he literally let Bill right back in the match. And Boog, I can't imagine what was going through his mind watching Bill get up in the 10th to double to beat him, because we've seen that so many times in Bill's career on TV, to get up and double to move on. And Bill's second shot was a lot better than his first shot. He absolutely aced it, and he left a 10, which he was doing on that right lane, right? The right lane, he was leaving a lot of 10s. He started out the match 10 pin on that right lane. And then he got to the roll off, and Boog made a better shot than Bill did in the roll off. Look, spade's a spade. He did. Boog hit the pocket. He threw a messenger at the 10, and Bill got a little bit fast, I think, and he left a 2, and that was the game. But was Boog overall's title the luckiest performance? I would say yes in the fact that he not only got really lucky to beat Bill that game, but he got really lucky that Keiko went on that pair, which I think leaves a good transition into that match. And he was clueless from the minute he got on that pair. He was clueless on the lane.
Well, not really. Okay, yeah, go ahead. Make that point.
He was clueless on the lane that was the better lane, on the right lane. He had a better reaction on the left lane.
That goes to my point that when he was coming over to practice, his main concern was that left lane because it was so bad. And I think that he got so wrapped up in what he was going to do on that left lane that it actually turned out that the left lane ended up being his good lane. He figured that out, but he never got the right lane.
I'm gonna read Tarzan. Well, by the way, I may be a lefty. I'd have never have to play Boog's line in my whole life, probably not. But we can acknowledge that standing in front of the ball return and over the left gutter cap is extremely difficult to execute. 120%, Tarzan. These guys are the best in the world. It shows you how hard it is to stand left and do what they're doing, loft it and execute and all of that. It just also shows you how bad that left lane was, Mike. Because nobody was hitting it those last 3 or 4 games. Keiko was.
Some of the 7-game matches, like Boog against Tommy Jones comes to mind, where in Game 7, like they were both playing extremely far left, especially Kroll. And that comes to mind. But, yeah, I agree with you. The left lane was pretty bad. This is a great question. This is a great question that I want to put out there. Do we need to consider – and I'm going to give another option too. But Dave in the chat is asking, do we need to consider a re-oil in between matches? Here's another option I'm going to give you, Rob, that I'd like to hear your response on. Do we need to consider – no practice on the TV pair until the first match is ready to start and those guys get a few shots on that pair? They go into the first match and everybody who comes in gets a few shots. No prior 15, 20-minute practice session that they have prior to the 5 and 4 seed getting their practice. Cut that out.
Yes.
What do you think about both of those options?
I'm against the re-oiling. Just because that's the way they've always done it. Every step ladder and my whole life before me, years, decades, they've never re-oiled for step ladder. But I do like the fact where they maybe only the person who is coming onto the match maybe gets like, I don't know, 3-4 shots on the left lane. 10, right?
And then 10 right now.
If you're number 1 seed or number 2 seed or whatever, and you're bowling, then you maybe have a practice pair. I'm not sure how they do it now. I'm gonna claim ignorance here. The number 1, 2s, and seeds, they're bowling on the TV pair in between the matches, right? Essentially, they're all bowling on the TV pair, right? Is that how they're doing it now? Because I haven't been to a match in a while.
So yes, if I'm correct, and I might be a little off here, but they come in and all 5 bowlers have the opportunity to bowl on the TV pair.
Okay.
If that's TV pair's fresh. All 5 bowlers come in, have a practice session. 3 of the 5 bowlers go off to the side. The 5 and 4 seeds stay, and they get 10 shots each on the lane before when the countdown to the show starts. Then from there, only the player coming in gets 10 shots on the lane. But I mean, that's a lot. That's a lot of bowling in between the competition, especially for today's environment. So, yeah, I think I
think 10's a lot. I think they need to maybe open up a practice pair off the TV. Obviously,
there's multiple pairs on off to the side, and the people who are not bowling are throwing shots on these pairs off to the side. But
they're also throwing on the TV pairs,
too. But they also come in and get 10 shots on the TV pair. And I'll be honest with you, like, if you're already warmed up, I don't think you should need 10 shots on the TV pair.
I don't think so. I think that's too many, to be honest with you. My opinion, I think that's too much. I think they should start cutting down the, like... But look, here's the thing, Mike. How many times when we've been watching this year or the last year where a left lane like really this happened.
Not much.
It's like why start changing things because
Yeah, I hear you.
one TV pair ends up being completely like gone in a way, right?
No,
Where the left lane's gone.
I like Steph's comment in the chat earlier. Like they're the best, and they got to be expected to deal with it. Carl Ong, what's good? I saw the information came out for the 2025 event. People need to check it out. Asian Ong
24.
Open, check it out. I think the
Yo,
information is out there.
my guys got tournament flyers and entries opening up like 6 months prior to the tournament. My guy's on top of it, bro. There's some tournaments out there they ain't taking entries till the week before, and he's got everything. You gotta check out his flyer. He added 2 sweepers. Yo, he's got action matches now Friday night, Thursday night. Check it out on Agent On Open, man. 10K in my area.
So that
we'll have him on later.
That brings us to the championship match. And as we already mentioned, Keiko comes in. And his first shot's on the left lane. He strikes on the left lane. And I'll be honest, I thought I was dead with my bet. I'm like, I'm dead. If he's got this left lane, there's no way Kroll's going to win this match. Because if he's got the left lane, he's going to have the right lane. And what happens, Rob? The right lane ends up being his undoing.
It was a bad match. Look, I'm going to be honest. It was a bad match. It was just bad. It was bad overall. Like both players were trying to get it, and the lanes were a disaster. And both of them didn't really have it. They're trying to like make doubles. I think the difference in the match was Boog starting out strong, and Keiko just never had it, and Keiko was trying to play catch up the rest of the match. And I don't believe Keiko doubled all match. And if once you're up, the only way to get back into it is by doubling. And I think it just hurt. But my surprise of the whole match, Mike, and I'll reiterate, is the fact that Keiko didn't hit the right lane and was hitting the left lane more than he was the right lane. So it makes me wonder if he should have used that troublemaker he was using on the left lane. If he should have tried to use it on the right lane. Seemed like that ball he was using on the right lane was just way too aggressive. It was hitting the spot, and it was just kind of taking it and going left. And the troublemaker he was throwing seemed a little bit smoother. I'd like to see him try to throw it on the right lane too.
Okay.
But so I mean, look, it wasn't a great show. Obviously I'm a little biased because I was rooting for Bill. But man, it was cool to see Boog win his first title. Regardless, the win's the win. First title. He did it from the PTQ, right? Which is really hard to do. You see a lot of these PTQ players making it through and then kind of going dead. I think this year you're seeing how good these PTQ players are because 2 PTQ players made the show, right? Foy was a PTQ player, Kroll was a PTQ player, and Stubler was a PTQ player who made it through, and he almost made the show. So I do think the best of 7 format opens up a lot of more first-time winners. You could see it, new faces. Like the last time the best of 7, you had it like AJ Johnson. You had a lot of guys that, are close. And I think that's what happened with this show is with the best of 7, you had some new faces, Foy and Kroll. And that's what that format does, Mike. It's not only more entertaining for the fans, for entertainment-wise, streaming-wise, and betting, but it also gives a lot of opportunity to these first-time players to win a title.
Yep, I agree. I agree with everything you said. Really couldn't say it better myself. Really, cool to see somebody get their first title. It wasn't the best title match, but great to see somebody win their first title. Validation is the word that comes to mind for Boog Kroll, right? I read somewhere this season about how he decided to come out and dedicate himself and fully bowl the tour season. And, I can't imagine what it means to him to make that decision and then
love it, Travis.
And then win. It's just a validation of everything that you probably wanted to get to, right? And now, his reward is no more PTQs, right? He jumps right onto the list of title winners there, okay, who get preference, and now he's gonna he's gonna be in the exempt tour for next year, I would imagine. I would imagine he's going to make the top 44 for points. That should almost go without saying.
So I actually had a conversation with Bill a few weeks ago when Bill beat Kroll to get to one of the shows. What show was that? Do you remember when Bill beat Boog? And it was the last
U.S. Open.
Was it the U.S. Open?
U.S. Open, yeah.
So I asked Bill. I was like, "Yo, I've never heard of this, Boog Kroll kid." And Bill said this to me 2 weeks ago. He said, "Boog can play." And Boog's really good. He had nothing but like good things to say about Boog. So I take that from Bill's mouth. Like if Bill says this kid can play, I'm gonna take it. I'm gonna take it for his word.
Yeah, actually, they started the match. They started their match. Kimberly Pressler asked Kroll about that,
right?
And yeah, he actually said like, he came up and had some really
this kid keeps shouting out that I didn't know Big Cat was troll, dude. You think so look, okay, let me really respond to this real quick, Justin. Shout out for me not knowing that Big Cat was trolling about the PDW. When has Barstool ever been knowledgeable about bowling in their history of their Barstool life? Okay, so when Barstool Cat puts up a post about PDW and the anniversary, I'm going to believe that they don't know, because when has Barstool ever known a thing about bowling other than trying to use the PBA for their own pockets by selling bowling merchandise? Okay, I'm done. Sorry, I get that off my chest.
Okay. Are you ready to do our categories here?
I am. Let's go. Let's do it. Where do you want to start here? People want to go to start with dumpster diving. I'm saving that for the end.
Steph pointing out, second time, no Storm Products International on the show.
Something's going on there, Mike.
Are we watching the downfall of the evil empire? I don't know.
Something's going on there, Mike. Something's going on with that equipment.
Where you want to go?
Let's go ride with, not ride with.
I'm riding with Tim Foy.
Me too. Me too. How could you not, man?
It's a quick ride, number one. And it's going to be an awesome ride because
hold on, wait.
He made a run.
Pavlenko, legal balls now. That's why. So what are you saying about Storm's balls?
I'm gonna tell you what he's saying. I'm gonna tell you what he's saying because I think this is the theory. And Jason, if I'm wrong, let me know. What's up, Jay? Shout to you guys. Pavlenko's Pro Shops, multiple locations if you need some help.
I heard great things about his Pro Shop.
Yeah, no doubt. They do a nice job. So the theory, I believe, and again, if I'm wrong, tell me, but I believe the theory here is
some dark skin.
And I mean the irony in this would just be too much for me. Okay. Because the hullabaloo about the softer shell balls started because of the Purple Hammer, right? It came out of that. And because of that, we fast forward through a couple different iterations of harder bowling balls need to be produced. All right. You had the Storm issue, you had the Purple Hammer issue.
Get to it. What is it? Come on, let's go.
So the theory, I think, is that now that the balls have to be produced at a greater hardness, the theory is that the reason that Storm balls were so effective previous to all this is that because a lot of their balls may have been softer, coarse. And the reason that they boomerang back so much is attributed to that. And now that the speculation, now that the shells have to be harder, those balls are not reacting in the same way.
Wow. And Pavlenko's agreeing with you there. So we'll have to keep an eye out.
Great minds think alike, son. Great minds think alike. What do you want me to say?
I mean, that's wild, but there's still been some Storm players. I think it doesn't matter how hard some of these balls need to be for guys like Simonson. Like he's still gonna find winning.
No, I think yes, no question. For in some instances, it's not going to matter, but in other instances, it is, and in other instances, it might even benefit some guys. Okay,
this is some hot topic. All right, we'll keep an eye out. All I know is if people follow us on social media, I like to put the eyes emoji. These are the eyes emoji. So we'll have
See,
to take a look.
but Daniel Cunningham then comes and said, "Oh, Simon had a terrible season." Like, no, that's not what we're saying. Again, it's not going to affect every player. But Daniel, are you going to tell me that Storm's dominance hasn't rescinded a little bit since all and maybe even more than a little bit since all of these changes have taken place? I don't know. I
Maybe.
think that's a hard argument to make, my man.
I don't want to get it. There's going to be a lot of angry patch pirates in the chat, Mike, that are listening to this right now. So let's get to the award. So you're riding with Foy. Is that what you said?
I'm riding with Foy.
I'm riding with Foy too.
Riding with Foy. That was an easy choice to me.
Dude, amazing.
He probably knows he knows the good food spots around the area. We're stopping somewhere really good for dinner. It's a quick ride, So I'm riding with Foy.
For sure. All right.
I'm not riding with Keiko. Okay, I'm not riding with Keiko.
He's probably doing about 15 under the speed limit.
Right, and it's going to be a quiet ride. It's going to be a very quiet ride. We don't really have much to talk about. Not a good vibe there.
What music do you think he's listening to?
I'm not. He's probably listening to some like Swedish house music.
I like it. I can do that.
That I'm not really going to be digging. So, yeah.
Dude, I could do some Swedish house music. Okay, so I might get a little bit of heat for this not ride with, but that's what I like to do. I like to pick some out of the box here. I'm not riding with Nate Stubler, okay? And I'm going to premise this by saying this kid's bowling fantastic this year, okay? Coming out of the PTQs and whatnot and making it to almost a TV show, right? But he's got to be kicking himself for the opportunity he had to make the show. Because it got to game 7 with Kevin, and he had the match. Mike, I'm sorry, not Kevin. I'm gonna get lit up on the chat for this, but he was who was he bowling in that final match to make the show, the prior show?
Who?
Stubler.
In this show?
Yeah.
He bowled. Oh, geez, who did he bowl in the last round?
Foy.
Yeah, he bowled Foy. Yeah.
He had Foy dead to rights in that last game. And he made 2 really bad shots. Because you know why I remember those 2 bad shots? Because I said in the Bull TV chat at the exact time he was getting up that Stubler has notoriously been really, really good under pressure and making really good shots. And then what does he do? I believe he misses the head pin. And then he gets up and he leaves a 2-4-8-10 for lefties, whatever that is. And then Foy gets up and strikes to knock him out off the show. So I think Stubler is kicking himself right now because he had a huge opportunity to make the show. And Mike, imagine a lefty on this TV pair. This could have been a whole different ball game if Stubler makes that show instead of Foy. That left lane could have been miserable, and Stubler could have not have even seen the left lane like the way it was. It could have been a whole different ball game, but that was my not ride with. Oh yeah, I clouded him 100%.
Okay. Spare shooter. I feel like we're going to have the same answer here.
Oh,
Keep
Bill.
it real. People on Twitter are telling us we better keep it 100 on our podcast tonight. And
Bill.
yeah, it's going to be Bill. I mean, you got to make that spare. You got to make that spare. And I'm going to say this. People are going to say I'm out here capping for my boy and whatnot. And that's fine. You could say that if you want. But I always come on here and say, hey, if a player of this caliber misses a spare, nothing else that happens in the match is really relevant. Like, you're not going to convince me that something else was the reason they lost the match if they lost it by less than a mark. But I have to say, out of all the PBA games I've ever watched on TV, if there's any game where I don't assign the loss of the game because of the missed spare, it's this game. Bill should have been able to miss that spare and then some and still win this game going away if the breaks weren't there. But nonetheless, you got to make that spare. You can't put the guy in a position where you're giving him life. So got to give the spare shooter award to our boy this week.
Yeah, he gets definitely the spare shooter award. Let's go with I see you, Haas.
It's Boog.
It's Boog.
There's only one option. It's Boog. I mean, we saw him before. no question. But I mean, everybody else sees him now because now it's Boog Kroll PBA titleist. Okay, so
Yeah, I think bowling with the Pfeff writes, I see you, Hospital's family. Good job getting there in the nick of time. The way I've heard Christy drives, I'm surprised they weren't even more late. I'm pretty sure she's a pretty
her dad
slow
was driving.
driver.
Her dad was
What?
driving. I'm pretty sure her dad
Oh,
was the
really?
driver today.
Oh,
Yeah.
but seeing her pile in with the family was hilarious. And Bill's kid having the same jersey, and his daughter is so cute. Like she looks like Christy, and she was high fiving people around her when
She
he
wouldn't
was
high
striking.
five me. She would only have high five the girls. She wouldn't high five. She wouldn't high
She wouldn't
five with any of
yeah.
us.
Yeah,
Nope,
that's
couldn't
funny.
get any love.
Yeah, I see you. Haas definitely goes to Boog, man. Good job, Boog, coming out of PTQs, beating
Congrats on
EJ
your first
Tackett.
title. Yeah.
Beating EJ Tackett to get
Beating
there.
Tommy Jones.
Tommy Jones,
Yeah.
no joke. Boog made his put his stake, his flag into the ground for sure. Milk Carton. I'm going to Milk Carton. We're going old school here with the Milk Carton. Even though he did withdraw from the tournament, my Milk Carton goes to Ryan Schaefer.
Ooh,
Dude,
okay.
Ryan Schaefer, he withdrew, but that's a blast from the past. If anybody remembers Ryan Schaefer, my guy, when they were tough and there was a grind, dude, Ryan Schaefer was always making shows. Always.
Book him on the show.
Was.
My milk carton is going to go Michael Davidson.
Oh yeah.
Hadn't seen that name in a minute. Hadn't heard that name in a minute. Came out, bowled really well in qualifying. Drew Belmo in the match play. Gave Belmo all he wanted. I mean that match went deep and it was close for a lot of that match. So Michael Davidson gets my milk carton.
Dude, Pavlenko talking about how he's giving the milk carton to all the lefties in the field. Now, let me ask you, Jason, because we had this theory before the season starts, and I remember I threw out a meme about when Taylor Swift was talking to Mahomes' wife about how the 78 hardness rule was going to affect the lefties the most. Are we seeing that come to fruition now with the urethanes and them not being allowed to throw pitch blacks and purple hammers all tournament? Are we seeing them now struggling because they have to, are almost forced to switch into resin when notoriously they didn't have to switch into resins at all? At all. I mean, there was times in a lot of these tournaments, these lefties were using purple hammers and pitch blacks all tournament. And now you're watching the streams and you're watching the match play and when they advance, they're having to switch to resin. A lot of them have been throwing resin, and we haven't seen that. So I think that's the case. And Pavlenko agrees with me. So, man, I'm telling you, I think that's something to keep an eye on. I think a lot of these guys, these lefties, are still struggling. There's only a few lefties that have been really good, that have been seen consistently. Graham Fa's been one of them. Stubler has been one of them. You see him a decent amount. And you've seen Svensson here and there, but you haven't seen a lot of other lefties that normally are up there.
Fair enough. Last award for the week, Rob. Dumpster diving gold medal.
Russo's been okay. I forgot to mention Russo. Dumpster diving. Well, since Ryan Simonelli's not bowling, which
he avoided the 5 in a row.
Yeah, I told you he wins one more, he's going to be then the award is going to be officially named after him. I'm going to make this statement. I will never give a dumpster diving award to someone who came out of PTQs. Okay. I'm making that rule. That is my rule. If you made it out of PTQs and you finished last, you still made it through an impossible PTQ field to get there. I'm giving milk carton to Tom Hess. Okay. Tom Hess finished 61st, Mike, and I think he was actually minus for the tournament, with the tournament that some righties were averaging like in the over 220s and 230s. So I love Tom. Shouts to Tom Hess. I love what he does in the booth. Great guy. If I see him in person, I will not tell him I gave him the dumpster diving award. I do not want to get that smoke. Okay. But unfortunately, I have to keep it real here. Tom Hess. Yeah.
All right. I'm going DJ Archer. He was way down in the standings this week.
Archer. You always
was
pick on
he.
DJ
I'm
Archer.
no, and I'm not a. You know why? Because he was also giving me a bunch of crap on Twitter a couple weeks ago for my bets. So DJ, not only am I giving you dumpster diving for this dumpster diving gold medal for this week, I hope you hear this too. I'm going to text him and make sure he hears this. Not only am I giving you dumpster diving gold medal this week, but I'm going to say I hope you saw all those bets I hit. I hope you saw all those parlays I hit. Okay, keep talking that smack, son. Dumpster diving gold medal, DJ Archer. It's my award.
Love it. All right, Mike. Any honorable mentions for the tournament before we move on?
Honorable mention, special mention to we had another rubber band beard guy. We had another rubber band beard guy. What are the chances? What are the chances? Also, somebody brought it up, but I wanted to give a big shout to the person with the sweep the rack shirt in the crowd. I mean, big
awesome.
shout. And also
The lady.
Okay. You want to talk about the lady first? The lady's going to be a meme in some way. When Jimmy gets a hold of that, she's going to turn into a bowling meme.
Yeah, Dave Shalati brings it up. I hope I said the last name right.
Is that what he's doing? Is that what she was doing? She was telling him hurry up.
She was telling him go because he's just like, doing all kinds of like balking and like, doing Keiko stuff. That's what he does, right? But I mean, everybody is taking, calling him human rain delay and bowling in slow motion. I mean, I've heard so many people get on it. And I would have loved, and I'm going to really press this. If anybody from the PBA is watching them, Tom, I know Tom watches every once in a while. We need a shot timer on the show to see, right? Because he was on the show when we were interviewing him, remember? And we asked him about the shot clock violation. And his response and his answer to it was, well, all other sports have, shot clock violation or timers and stuff. Every other sport, you could see the shot clocks. You could see in the NFL. You could see in the NBA. They need to put it on the TV because I'm curious to see how close these guys are getting to that 10-second, right, where they have to start their approach. So I think they need that. That's an improvement they need to make for the fans to be able to, like, see what's going on.
I also want to tell this story real quick. So get there today, and we're walking in. Me and Bobby Kerwin are walking into the show, and a couple of our people are walking out, and we link up with them. Yo, what's up? And then there's this dude standing there with his girl. With this girl, it turns out it's his girlfriend, and she has a camera and he has a microphone. And homeboy comes up to me and he's like, "Hey, can I interview you? Would you mind being interviewed?" And I said, well, interviewed for what? And he's like, "Oh, I have a YouTube channel." I said, "What's your YouTube channel?" "I have a YouTube channel too."
Hey,
and he's like, "Oh," he's like, "My YouTube channel is Road Team Sports," I think was the name of it. Road Team Sports, right?
Bobby was there. Best interview ever, he says.
So I'm like, "Yeah, sure. I'll do an interview for you." He's like, "Okay." So, she puts the camera up and he starts asking questions and he brings the microphone over and I said to him, he's like, "Oh, I have a YouTube." I said, "Oh, I have a YouTube." So he explains to me his. He says, "What's yours?" And now we're recording. And I look into the camera and I'm like, "Where's the camera? I want to look at the people." I said, "Do you know who you're talking to?" And he goes, "Who am I talking to?" I said, "You're talking to Big Mike from Sweep the Rack."
Yeah,
and he goes, "What's Sweep the Rack? What's Sweep the Rack?" And I said, It's the bowling world's most popular bowling podcast." Okay. I said, "And I am the preeminent gambling expert on bowling in the world. You just happen to run into me here." Okay. So we did a little interview. Now I'm not gonna lie, like this guy, those interview people who like go out and do the sarcastically, ironically funny interviews where they act like they're a part of the community, but
he was trying to make fun of bowling.
I kind of got that vibe. That's why I went in the direction that I did. That's why I went the way I did.
The worst person to interview, by the way, is you. If he's trying to make fun of bowling,
I went into my Big Mike persona. I mean, if he's doing it for that reason, I gave him everything that he could have wanted. I mean, I gave him comedic gold. Okay, and yeah, he was like, "Oh, well, what bets? What bets?" And I I mean, obviously, I said, "Oh, we hit an 8-leg parlay. We hit for Thomas Keiko over Belmo, the best bowler in the world. We had 500 on that. We hit another parlay, turned 100 into 900 on Bill Keiko and Tim Foy. We had the underdogs all week. We're crushing them. We're crushing them, is what I told them. So we go inside and we're watching the show now, right? We're watching the show now, and I'm watching in the back. This is before Bill's match, right? And I'm watching in the back, and he's standing there with the microphone, kind of interview, just like kind of interviewing people around, watching the show. And he asked me again to talk about the betting. So I talk about the betting again. We talk a little bit about what's going on out there, and I told the people though, sweep the rack.
That's great. You'll have to hit that link up. I got to watch that. And we'll have to play
know.
it.
Now, while we were doing the show here, I was searching for his page, and I can't find Road Team Sports.
Ooh.
So he may have been giving me a fake name.
Ooh.
He may have been giving me a fake name because he doesn't want us to see what he's going to do with it.
Ooh.
But I don't know. Maybe but what would he put in the title in a couple days? We could search for, like, probably Delaware Open, PBA Delaware, right? And it would probably
people will find it. People will find it. People, they show out, man. When it's time, to step up.
Jimmy's going to be all over that. Okay, Jimmy's going to be all over that. So no doubt.
Dude, that's great. Maybe that was Tim Buck.
But while he's talking to me the second time, I said something about, listen, I'm Big Mike from Sweep the Rack. Yo, two guys standing in front of me turn around while he's interviewing me and go, "Yo, Big Mike from Sweep the Rack." I said, "Yo, here I am." And the look on this guy's face was like, holy shit, like, this dude, people actually just recognize this dude for who he's telling me who he is. And I was just like, yo, I told you, Sweep the Rack, we're everywhere, bro.
Yeah, man, I can't wait to see that link. Hopefully we could find it. Our people, be on the lookout for Big Mike being interviewed, and you got to pass that link to us so we could play it on air for everybody, because we will 100% play it on air when we get it. I can't wait to see that. So, yeah, what a crazy. We didn't talk about the guy shooting darts, and then the lady. I mean, it was a little bit of a wild.
It was a wacky crowd today.
It was a little wacky crowd
today, no doubt.
Yeah. So, other than that, I think, are we good with the tournament?
All right, let's give the people what they want, or what maybe some of them don't want.
Some of them don't want.
This is a great question before we start Worst of the Week. Does anyone miss Barstool Carl? Where did Barstool Carl even go? Okay,
yeah,
that's what I want to ask. What happened to that?
Yeah, I don't know where he's been. I don't care.
All right, let me do my Worst of the Week first, because mine's quick and easy, and you can get to yours, which is probably going to spur some discussion.
Yeah.
And see, people misunderstand Worst of the Week, Rob. They think we're always coming at a person. We're not always coming at a person. We're coming at a post. Sometimes we're coming at a company, like I am here in my Worst of the Week this week. And my Worst of the Week this week goes to the Storm Bowling social media team. And the reason that I'm giving Worst of the Week to the Storm Bowling social media team is because they put up a video this week featuring none other than the Patch Pirate King, the house shot ball review king, Louis Napolis. And they are promoting his ball review stuff on their social media page, as if that is a great source for your bowling ball information. Not sure. But that's my Worst of the Week. Okay.
I'm going to end my Worst of the Week. So if anybody saw a little bit of the Facebook drama this morning, I'm giving Worst of the Week to the gentleman who tried to put us on blast on the Bowling Science Forum. And I'm going to kind of break down a little bit of what happened. So randomly, I got a Facebook, and I'm not saying his name. Randomly, I got a Facebook from this gentleman. And he writes, I used to listen to your podcast every week, but only because the end of it, I stopped. I don't care for this worst of the week. I don't find it funny putting people down. I went into the bowling science group you bash all the time, and honestly, I don't get it. Thousands of members talking bowling. Maybe they are learning and don't all understand the game, but they are enjoying it. Mike always says, Rob, you want to give the people what they want? It's not what I want. You guys have a lot of knowledge of bowling and really understand the game, but putting bowlers down is not the answer to growing the sport. I responded, our show is honestly not for everyone, Mike, which it's not. We only pick out certain posts that honestly deserve it, like a guy trying to put a bowling ball in a sous vide, or a guy making a bowling ball cleaner with a God only knows what we've seen on that message board. Some people honestly deserve it. Look, you'll never hear us getting on top or getting on somebody, Mike, for asking questions on learning or new or, trying to understand and just enjoying it, right? I'll never put anybody on worst of the week for that. But some people, they deserve it, okay, with some of the crap and some of the shit they say. I wrote, if worst of the week offends you, then to be honest, our show isn't probably right for you. I would check out Beef and Barnesy as they stick to bowling. We like to have off the rails fun, which we do. Appreciate you reaching out to us. And then he responded, fair enough. I will not listen anymore. I will actually listen to Down the Lane podcast, and you're wrong. No one deserves to be put down. Okay, that was the end of it. I'm fine with that, Mike. Look, I'm glad. Our podcast isn't for everybody. It's not,
couldn't
right?
Care less, bro. Don't listen.
But listen, it's not. That's what I was saying, as respectfully as I could. Like, I don't care. Don't listen to our podcast. I don't. It's not gonna I'm not gonna lose sleep over it. But then he goes and puts my response and tries to blast me on Bowling Science Forum. That's where I was just sitting there going, okay. I'm going to sit back. I'm going to see what people are going to say. And Mike, let me tell you, when the Sleep the Rack fam came on, they showed out because people were blasting him. They called him a crybaby. They called him all kinds of stuff like, just don't listen. They're right. I knew that my response was going to be, he was going to try to bait me, right? And I didn't take the bait. I kind of knew what he was doing. But look, if you don't want to listen to the show, then don't, right? I respectfully, agree to any opinion. Not agree with your opinion, but what I'm trying to say is I respectfully respect your opinion on what you think of our show. I don't care. But when you start trying to blast us publicly, then it's just what are you really trying to do? Are you woke up to choose violence against us for what? We're doing this for free. We love doing this. We love talking to the people. If it offends you, then don't listen in the story. So you get my worst of the week, my guy. Congrats. I'm not going to throw your name out, but you know who I'm talking about.
People who don't get worst of the week never spent days, hours, etc., hanging out in a pro shop. They don't get it because I did, and a lot of what would happen would be people coming in, and same concept, same idea, except it wasn't being highlighted publicly. I want
to pull this up here.
Stuff you would laugh about for weeks and months afterwards. Remember when this guy came in and suggested this, or remember when the guy came in with his kid's bowling ball that he drilled on his own. But I do want to give a shout out to Steph here because this was it. This was it until they sent out the king of the patch pirates. I had to go with that. But 220 average bowler on YouTube put a video up bowling with a watermelon. So
Nico, you keep asking me why I'm still looking at the group. First off, Mike didn't retire from the group. He says he retired from it. Trust me, he's still looking at the posts. My response to you is you will see me answer and chime in questions when I really want to try to help somebody and give them, at least my perspective on what's going on and me answer questions that I think will help somebody, right? I do agree that there are a lot of people in that group that want to learn bowling, and there are a lot of new people, and I have no problems with that. I actually love that, the fact that, but I really don't like when people getting misinformation. All these people, they're asking for advice, and they're getting 100 different answers, and a lot of them are incorrect. And there's a lot of misinformation. There's a lot of uneducation. There's a lot of people who think they know what's going on, and they don't. And I'm being honest with you. That's when I will try to respond. And especially when it comes to like the youth bowling, right? Where I see like maybe someone post a picture of their kid and they're trying to get help for their kid. And like, like you're giving him wrong information. You're telling him the wrong things. Like, go get a coach. Like, learn, do it the right way instead of trying to listen to what people are going to tell you on the internet. I just don't like a lot of the false and misinformation that you get on some of those threads.
All right, Rob, let's wrap it up. My final thought is I get hotter than I've ever been on gambling, on sports, particularly bowling. And what happens? There's going to be a 2.5 week break. So, my bank account will thank me, I guess, for the lack of activity over the next couple of weeks. But yeah, we're on the All-Star break here, Rob.
Yeah, guess who's coming into town this week? I get to see Bill this week. That's cool. I get to see some other people, I'd imagine. I might be at a live taping at the Phoenix Speedway this week. So that'll be cool to be able to check out the action, the activities. Who knows? I might be in the crowd for one of the events. So I might have to wear the jersey. I got it at a perfect time to wear it to the live taping of one of the celebrity shows. Yeah, Nico, I will be going. I believe I will go to the Thursday taping. I'm not sure what's going on, what the schedule is. But yeah, that'll be cool. But Mike, final thoughts here. I didn't give worst of the week to this, okay? But this is definitely, Mike, something that I think we need to watch, okay? So did anybody see the USBC Open Championships opening shot? Okay, did anybody check this out? Because if you didn't or you haven't, you're in a lot of luck, because I had this sent to me. I'm not going to give the name of who sent it to me because I don't know if they want to be named on air. When I watched it, I almost fell off the chair laughing because it was a very funny moment, embarrassing, but I'm just going to play it, okay? And then I will try to talk through it for the people listening and not watching. So if anybody can see this gentleman here in the red and black shirt, he's with the glasses. He's the one up front here. This was his opening shot, the first shot of the US BC Open Championships.
Pause it for a second. Pause it.
Okay.
So this shot counts?
No, this is the first. This is like
okay.
Opening shot.
This is a ceremonial shot.
Opening first shot of practice kind of thing, like like cutting the ribbon type. Okay. So this gentleman, they're all going. Everyone's watching, right? Cameras are going, videos are going. And this gentleman is about to throw a shot, and he hits his leg, and the ball goes off of his ankle and ends up almost hitting the guy to the right of him, and is in now the right gutter of the lane that's right of him, and now the ball is stuck in the ball return, or the gutter, I mean. And everyone's laughing, and it's a pretty hilarious moment, to be honest with you. I just thought that was an amazing way to close this show. I thought it was hilarious. If anybody wants to check out, go to the USBC Open Championships social media and check the opening ceremony shot, and you will find it. It's a quite hilarious moment for sure.
All right, we're going to leave you with that. We hope you enjoyed our show review and our rundown. We hope everybody enjoyed the show. We appreciate all of you joining us and hitting us in the chat.
Yeah, hit the like and subscribe button.
Yeah, hit the like and subscribe button. But we appreciate you joining us in the chat with all your questions and comments. We don't
ask for a lot.
It was a little bit of a tough day today, but that's all right. We'll keep the bandwagon rolling forward, onward after the All-Star break here. Keep up with us on social media. I'm at the 215. He's at Brooklyn Rob 11. Keep
Yeah, I
the
don't think we're
emails
going on
coming.
this week.
Yeah, keep the emails coming. We appreciate the emails. sweeptherack@gmail. We're not sure what our schedule is going to be for this week because Rob has Bill coming out to stay. He might be attending some of the events, so I don't know. Just stay tuned. We'll post when we're going to go live. It might be Wednesday. It might be Friday. Might be next Sunday. We're unsure. We're unsure about when our next show is going to be, but we wanted to get on here and wrap up the tournament from today. So, Rob, about halfway through the season, I've enjoyed it so far. Always enjoy coming and chopping it up with you after the show, and we'll catch everybody soon. All right.
Later, guys.
You are now listening to Sweep the Rack podcast featuring Brooklyn Rob and Big